What we're doing here is we're trying to prefabricate the poles that will go into the ground to support our new buildings. I felt compelled to come to Bangladesh because it honestly seemed like one of the more difficult positions I could apply for. Bangladesh is situated in probably the worst area for natural disasters. They're constantly under floods, they're constantly at threat of cyclones. It does hold the country back quite a bit. Number one industry in Bangladesh is agriculture, so the flooding of course affects that. The cyclones obviously affect that. Can you ask her what they did when the cyclone happened? Where did they go? Climate is a constant consideration in the delivery of aid programs. Getting aid out to different areas is quite difficult. Most of the country is either river or just below sea level, so quite prone to flooding. Transferring skills becomes almost impossible when you can't get to the regions that need it most.
Habitat for Humanity is a housing ministry. We work with low-income families around the world.
Oh, and the water is coming. The water is up to next.
Water was up to his neck?
Yes, and that time they were swimming.
Our housing solutions cost $2,250 to help a family. Here in Bangladesh, we work with families, and they save a portion of their income towards the housing, and then we build for them.
They have the council.
If people are homeless or living in very poor conditions, they don't have the dignity or the status in the community to be full contributing members.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Once a person's housing is secure, then the families can spend their energies and efforts focusing on other needs, such as education, health needs, and other such things.
We generally try to head out to work between 7 and 8, so I'll get to work at about 7:30. I do quite a few things at Habitat for Humanity. I work in the Public Relations and Resource Development Department, which means that I'm responsible for everything from marketing and media all the way through to program evaluation and monitoring and evaluation in order to best secure funding and resources for further programs. My organization is an international organization, so the first couple of hours of the day are always spent trying to answer emails and do the coordination for the morning. The rest of the day is either spent with program management, staff training, working with volunteers, or generally trying to come up with a new way to fundraise. They're essentially building the outer cement blocks to make sure that whatever they do build will be safe and secure and won't budge in a cyclone. I thought I was prepared for this experience. Before I left, I felt confident that I had enough traveling experience, I had enough experience with different cultures, I had enough of a worldview to be prepared for what awaited me here. I think traveling can only broaden your view of the world. My father was Norwegian, my mother was Iranian. I was actually born in Iran, but raised all over the world. I actually grew up in French-speaking schools, so the only English I learned was in the US when I visited my uncles. My accent has been the subject of quite a bit of discussion. So this is the main part of the market. Most of the second floor is clothing. Most of the bottom floor is materials. And the very, very bottom floor, you see household items. And everything's open for negotiation. Everything's open for negotiation. So mainly at the beginning, you'll be focusing on PR, just trying to improve our communication flow.
Okay, so we'll be working sort of together for a couple of months. Absolutely. For your last 2 months, and then I'll carry on the work that you've been doing.
Exactly. We're going to try and get some continuity in our organization. There has been quite a broad mix of experiences with the Australian Youth Ambassadors. When we first arrived in country, there was a clear distinction between those that had traveled extensively and those that didn't. For those that traveled, it does help to acclimatize to this kind of an environment, especially one that's just so different from Australia. Your average Bangladeshi isn't making more than $1 a day. That's 150 million people, half of whom aren't making more than $1 a day. You're faced daily with the onslaught of just how much the need is, and I'm not sure that anyone can be prepared for that. Speaking with other AYADs, we've all come to the conclusion that it's difficult to turn off, if not impossible. Although you get more acclimatized to it, dealing with the amount of poverty, the amount of disease, the amount of sickness, just the sheer amount of people that need help is still a difficult thing to address. It's a tough country to be in at the moment. Some of the challenges I faced when I came here were cultural. There's very little sense of personal space. Everybody on your street, everyone in your neighborhood knows who you are. They know where you go at all times of the day. They know where you've been the night before. But in a lot of ways, it's quite comforting to know that there's so many people that are so interested. It has helped in terms of security and just being able to find things. People are very open in this country. So all 23 million people in the city want to help you out.
I think one of the major things that the AYADs expect is to have a cultural exchange through this program. If I look at him, I guess Australians are very friendly. Pierre was very much integrated in our team. He was a person that we were able to relate with him very well.
There's been 115 youth ambassadors come through the program so far. It's not an easy life for them, but they bring with them commitment and a love of what they do.
I love everything about Bangladesh except we need clean water. Clean water, #1 priority.
They're great, they're really great. They're lots of fun, they have a love of life. That's what they achieve when they're here that's the most remarkable, because they really do make a huge difference to people's lives and to the organisations they're working with. Bangladesh is a very poor country, 150 million people. A place that's 2/3 the size of Victoria. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. By Australia reaching out to Bangladesh, we can help make people's lives better.
I have a constant sense that maybe I have the capacity to do more and that perhaps there is another way to do it. I try not to do anything that pulls me away from my core task. So whatever we've been doing outside of Habitat hasn't interfered with the work. There's a couple of orphanages that my basketball team and the rest of the youth ambassadors contribute to. One of the previous intakes AYADs had spotted these conjoined twins at an orphanage and decided that she would make it her mission to take them back to Australia.
I think the girls can do better. Can the girls do better?
She also managed to secure surgeons to do the operation for her. It was just an amazing story. Since then, most of the AYADs go and frequent this one particular orphanage, and they do an amazing work.
Are they all orphans that have lost both parents?
Yeah, we have most of our children, they don't have father and mother.
Hi, sorry about the class. Hi, everybody. How are you? You guys remember me? You guys remember the Big Bangs? Remember this? So if I get out, defense! Defense! Come on, defense! 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 All right, great. Thank you so much. 1, 2, 3! Defense!
We don't often get to see a tangible effect of what we do. It's all medium to long term. With basketball, we can organize a tournament and raise money and use the proceeds to fund a skills camp for orphans, prepare what we call survival packs for local slums, local slum children, which may be anything from rice to water to snacks to things like soap, just the basic needs that people have. Basketball's given us a way to give back immediately. It's a nice feeling to be able to see exactly what you're doing. I've never felt like I've had to put my career on hold here. The amount of experiences that I have, the types of experiences that I've had, and the amount of learning that's occurred here has really helped my development. I can confidently say that I'm more prepared now for the type of work that I want to be doing than I was before I arrived in Bangladesh. I had already set myself up with quite a good job back home. I felt quite comfortable. I felt this would be a good challenge. There have been quite a few moments where I've thought, maybe I shouldn't have come here. But overall, this has been one of the best experiences of my life.